The Fraternal Order of Police, the union representing Chicago police officers, is asking the Illinois Supreme Court to allow them to destroy all police misconduct records older than 5 years. Interim Police Superintendent Charlie Beck says he has mixed thoughts on whether all misconduct records should remain public.
A bonfire of critical police misconduct records. Critics fear that could happen if Chicago's police union wins its fight to destroy those files.
CBS 2 political investigator Dana Kosloff uncovers it's a fight the union is waging in court and behind the scenes at the bargaining table.
This is the happiest day of my life. It's over.
Emotions run high and the damage runs deep.
I want justice for my son.
Victims of police misconduct and their families forever changed.
I'm struggling now, still struggling to this very day, of every day just living.
He just took my life away from me, from my family, from my daughter.
Until 5 years ago, their struggle made even more difficult because police misconduct records were still secret, kept hidden, even though officer complaints were piling up, patterns of wrongdoing were developing, and taxpayers were shelling out tens of millions of dollars in brutality cases like those against former Chicago Police Commander John Burge.
I exercise my Fifth Amendment right.
Then these two men, Craig Futterman and Jamie Calvin, fought to get misconduct complaints released to the public and won. The Calvin case, I mean, it was a battle, wasn't it?
It was a battle. It was close to 10 years of litigation and, an extraordinary amount of work.
Now that's all in jeopardy.
Hundreds of thousands of records, of police misconduct records, can go up in smoke, and that means forever. Once they're gone, they're gone.
The Fraternal Order of Police, the union representing Chicago police officers, is asking the Illinois Supreme Court to allow them to destroy all police misconduct records older than 5 years.
And it couldn't come at a worse time.
Just a year ago, Chicago police entered into a federal consent decree mandating reforms following decades of misconduct and even torture complaints.
The data and information that's at stake in this case is of absolutely critical importance to that process.
Especially since all the past misconduct resulted in little discipline for offending officers.
Almost always the finding was in favor of the police officer.
Futterman and Calvin say the records are critical to exposing patterns of misconduct that highlight problem officers. Take Officer James Hunt, caught on camera saying he kills. CBS 2 investigator Brad Edwards uncovered that 4 years before Hunt's comments went viral, he did kill, shooting 17-year-old Deshaun Pittman 10 times.
You bitch.
A deeper dive into Hunt's past found he had 8 misconduct allegations against him in less than 6 years, and he's still on the street.
That investigation is working its way to me, and I will make a decision.
Interim Police Superintendent Charlie Beck says he has mixed thoughts on whether all misconduct records should remain public.
I think that everybody understands that police officers are often subject to unfounded complaints, and do the full details of those need to be revealed? I think that's a different question. Sustained complaints, I don't have such an issue with.
Past courts have repeatedly ruled misconduct records are public records. After Futterman and Calvin won their case,
if you look at our database,
they put all CPD misconduct cases on this website, the Invisible Institute. They say if the FOP wins and gets the previous rulings reversed, basic information will stay on the website, but case details will be destroyed.
All the evidence, the hardcore evidence, here are the statements themselves. The statements of officers, statements of witnesses, the underlying physical evidence, the underlying medical evidence.
That would be destroyed.
That would all be destroyed.
And Futterman says destroying records wouldn't only be bad for victims.
I feel like I was dragged by the devil.
He says it could also make it hard to fire officers like Patrick Kelly, now before the police board facing termination. Kelly also has a history of complaints and cost the city a $44 million jury verdict after being accused of shooting friend Michael Laporta in the head.
This one.
And you feel pain there?
Yeah. It's a lot of pain.
Record destruction, Futterman says, could also hurt the city.
If they destroy these records, they will be unable to defend itself and in all this litigation, and will be subject to liability that will just blow up the city.
Ultimately, he says it's the community that would suffer most, impacting CPD as it tries to restore broken trust.
People don't trust the police. So this is the very kind of thing that is so critically necessary to our public safety, to solving violence, to getting rid of police abuse in Chicago, to finally addressing patterns and practices of civil rights violations.
The FOP's president says the union is trying to do what's best for its members. But it's more than a Supreme Court case. Unions representing CPD rank and file and supervisors are also in arbitration with the city, trying to get record destruction put into their contracts. A spokesperson for the city says the mayor opposes the move, adding city government has an obligation to remain transparent. The Illinois Supreme Court is expected to hear this case this spring. In the newsroom, Dana Kozlov, CBS 2 News, Brad and Erica.
We'll be watching. Thank you, Dana.